As you said, like you can love 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, but Bollywood had made a perception, and like I have friends who like believe in it as well. Like you can only love once. I strongly believe you can love more than
Shah Rukh
one.
Khan, why you did this to us, yeah? I'm blaming it on Shah Rukh. I think it was in his movie that dialogue was there. There can be only one big love. That Karan Johar and Shah Rukh Khan have done this to us now.
प्यार भी एक ही बार करते हैं, that kind of thing. Yes, ma'am.
Listen, that's a choice that you are making.
Hello everyone, this is Chandra Prakash, your host.
And I'm Prahash Rehan, your co-host, and we are back with the third episode of the podcast.
So on today's episode of YouMeNaturally Podcast, we have Ms. Chetna, who is a life coach, a healing practitioner, practicing positive action coaching. She also runs one-on-one programs where she works closely with clients for a period of time to bring about change in people's life. Welcome, ma'am.
So
Thank
without
you for
further
having me on the show. I'm very excited.
Thank you. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you boys doing?
We are doing great.
I think this particular question everybody has asked themselves. Like what is love? And there are and more terms related to attraction, infatuation. So what do you think what exactly love is, and how can people understand what is love and what is not love?
When you first meet a person and you say there's a connection and you say I feel chemistry, it is your hormones. Very simply, please don't fall for it. It is your hormones.
Yeah, I don't believe in love at first sight.
It's not that, okay, I'll tell you this. There are a lot of people who say there is love at first sight. And I would not say that there is no love at first sight, but understand that love is a verb and it is something that you have to act upon. So you feel something and you can say that I'm very attracted to so-and-so person. But for it to be, I love that person or I'm in love with that person, you have to do things. You have to experience a relationship. You have to experience time with each other. So love at first sight is attraction at first sight. And it's not necessarily a looks thing. Please know that. And I will say this because so many people have body image issues and think only if you are hot and skinny and I don't know, whatever typically the TV and radio and the world outside tells us we should look like, only those people find love. Please understand that there are people who like their partner to be fat. There are people who like their partner to be bald. There are people who like their partner to not wear makeup. There are people who like their partner to wear only X type of clothes and be in that. And I'm not coming from a space of possessiveness and control. I'm just coming from a space of preference, right? So, however, there are people who fall only for short people. Boys think that if you're short, you're not going to find love. Let me tell you, there are lots of women who like short guys. Women think that I will not find love if I'm fat. There are lots of men who like fat women. And I'm using politically very harsh words now because we are not allowed to use these adjectives anymore. But if I have to say it like it is, please know this is the truth. Right? So why you find somebody attractive may not necessarily have to do with looks. For some people, it is looks because vanity as a belief is very big for them. But for some people, it may not be that. And for a lot of people, looks is a big thing because only then their family will accept according to them. Only then will their family say, wow, what a match she has found or he has found.
Yeah.
That's why looks and money becomes a big thing because your family will accept and people will say, oh, she did well for herself or he did well for herself or himself. So know that love is something that you experience over time. When you act upon it, when you express it, when you live it. It starts off as a certain feeling, which is a mix of many feelings. There is attraction, there is excitement, there is a desire, there is a certain hunger, there is a certain, a good feeling, a soft, warm feeling. There's a certain coziness. Now, I've literally said 7 or 8 different emotions.
Yes, ma'am.
So love is like biryani.
Love could be different for everyone, right?
It's like that. There are many ingredients that go into it. It's not a single isolated ingredient.
Yeah.
So love is something which is beyond your face. I mean,
It's a mix of emotions. Let's put it this way to speak very in very logical terms. Love is an emotion which is a combination of many emotions. It's not a singular emotion. It has layers. It has, like, anger has different types of anger, but anger is a single emotion. It may have different triggers, but love has many layers to it. It's an experience. It's not a solo emotion. So love at first sight means you're feeling that many emotions for that person in that first sight.
The first sight itself.
And that person, your 4 GB calculating data processing eye, has taken that person in and checked off the 40 boxes that you have dreamt of. Like this.
Yeah.
That is what love at first sight would be, right? But look, I will say this. I say this to all my clients, whether you're a teenager or 30 or a 40-year-old. Please have more than one relationship. Please fall in love more than once. Please have some 2-3 heartbreaks. It is good for you.
It is necessary for you to form a decision kind
Not
of.
only a
Because
decision,
you
I will also tell you this. I have a lot of friends who fell in love in college and married their college sweetheart. And they've lived with each other now for 20 years. They have kids and whatever. And their first reaction is, damn, I experienced only one relationship. I only know this one person. Good or bad, I only know this one person. So it's like you said, right? It teaches you to make a better decision. See, for some of us, after that 20 years, they are still okay because they have worked on their relationship and kept the love alive. But for a lot of people, after that 20 years, a lot of regret is hitting because they didn't work on their relationship.
Because it starts to fade away, as you say.
So love is a verb. At any age, it's a verb. Right? So if you have a heartbreak, it's okay if you go through that pain. You will live, you will survive. Nothing is going to happen. You're not going to be left alone. You will find another love. You will find somebody else attractive. Somebody else will find you attractive. 100% it will happen.
So, ma'am, moving on from this love thing and talking of more related to it, things related to it, talking about relationships and breakup. So, after breakup, sometimes we don't want to lose that feeling of being with someone.
Yeah.
And some people often tend to get back together. And that is also a very confusing state. You don't know whether you are missing the person or the feeling of being together or being loved. So, how can someone differentiate this feeling?
Okay, so understand that when you break up, it depends on why you have broken up, what has caused it. Sometimes you have broken up frivolously. It was a fight and ego came in the way and you said, go, get out. And you didn't really mean to break up. So if you've gotten back, then work on it, enjoy yourself. Again, if you're a teenager, if you're in your 20s, work on it can only mean that much. You don't know that much of life to work on it in some, wisdom-filled person, right? So you can work on it within your own limitations of that age and the experience that you have. But if you get back to somebody, you need to understand why you are getting back to them. What is it that you're signing up for second time round? You should know that first time round also. But since you didn't know and you jumped into it, now you came out of there and you jumped right back in. You should know why you are jumping right back. Now, if you are going back because you are missing the feeling of being loved, you're better off going out on dates and letting somebody else give you some attention and enjoying that space, right, with your boundaries drawn in a safe manner, than going back to a relationship that wasn't giving you what you want. So here's a tool, here's something that you can do. Write down what you want from the relationship. Okay? Once you write down, make a list. Bullet points, don't write paragraphs, please. Bullet points. Okay, short sentences. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might write 40 things, doesn't matter. Okay? Now, look at those 40 things and be brutally honest. Next to each one, write, can your partner give it to you? Is that partner the kind of person who can give this to you? If you write yes, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate it. Saying, how much can they give me? A 5, a 6, a 7, a 10. Okay? If your list has more things that the partner cannot give you but you want to experience, then know that you may not be in love with the person. You may just be used to the person, and you may be in love with a perception of the person that you have created in your head. And this is what we do, right, in a relationship, or at least in the beginning. I mean, the truth comes out months later. In the beginning, you fall in love with your image of the person, what you have decided that person is. Because what you do on date 3,
as you said, like you can love 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, but Bollywood had made a perception, and like I have friends who like believe in it as well. Like you can only love once. I strongly believe you can love more than
Shah Rukh
one.
Khan, why you did this to us, yeah? We're blaming it on Shah Rukh. I think it was in his movie that dialogue was there. There can be only one big love. That Karan Johar and Shah Rukh Khan have done this to us now.
प्यार भी एक ही बार करते हैं, that kind of thing. Yes, ma'am.
Listen, that's a choice that you are making. That's a choice that you are making because you want to experience some grand romanticized version of love. And I will say this, that there are a lot of people who will experience it. It will happen. But at some point, your relationship will become real and realities of life will hit. And do you as a couple then have the ability to work through that? Let me give you a scenario. You are 19 years, 21 years old. You've fallen in love with somebody. You think this is your great big love, and during college, everything is going great. It's beautiful, right? You'll have figured things out. You'll have a plan, get a job. 3 years after the job, save so much money. Then we'll get married, everything. Okay, you've planned everything. Chalo, done. No problem. Fair enough. Cut to when you turn 23, you get a job. One person gets a job in one nice cushy corporate where they go home at 7 o'clock in the evening. Another person goes and joins an ad agency because they are creative, where everybody works till 4 in the morning and they work Monday to Sunday. Okay? Or another scenario, one person goes into family business, another person gets a job which is in another city. Now your great big love can handle this or not? Because if it cannot handle it, then this is no great big love and the one. It can be the great big love and this can be the one. You still have to deal with these realities of life. You still have to go through these realities of life. Also, great big love, where in India, there might be religion issues. Forget religion issue. There is in supposing like you're a Gujarati, okay? In Gujaratis only there will be that many differences. You're not from this caste and you're not from that. I mean, in Hindus only we have so many differences. So the family gets up and says, what do you mean not okay? Okay, then financial status. Family says not okay. What happens to your great big love when you have to choose between parents and that? You're willing to fight. That time, who's Shah Rukh Khan? That time, who's being Shah Rukh Khan at that point?
Yes.
Right?
We are the ones being...
Okay. Another example, let's take a Shah Rukh film only. Kal Ho Na Ho. That was a great big love. One poor man did not live long enough. Yeah. But that means there was still love, right? Two other people loved each other and built a life, right? So now how do you explain this great big love? Which love is less at which point? So stories are
That's
stories.
interesting.
And it's a lot of stuff is taken from real life. But there is no guarantee that your life is going to be exactly like that.
Exactly similar to that. Yes.
So that's the mistake that we made. You have no guarantee that your life is going to be exactly like that movie that you have latched on
to. So, ma'am, moving forward, ma'am, talking about series also, ma'am, there is a series called Little Things on Netflix. You must have
not watched it, but
heard about it. Yeah. So, ma'am, there a girl asked her partner, what if there is something more? What if there is something better suited for me? And I found it very relevant because it's a very obvious thought. So, ma'am, how can somebody deal with this kind of situation?
So let me say this. It's if you go looking, there might be something better for you out there.
And there's always something.
Right? Question is, what do you need, want in this moment? Also understand that better is subjective, just like perfect is subjective.
True.
right? And you may meet somebody who is better in X manner but worse in Y manner. Then
Yes.
I'll give you a real example from a client that I've met. Was married to somebody for almost 15 years. She was a go-getter and wanted to live a grand life and a flamboyant life. Husband was a simplistic person, and they did very well in their careers, and they lived financially, they grew, and they were exactly where they wanted to. But he was a very simple person, so the flamboyance of it, the loudness of it that she would have liked was not there. She divorced him and got married to somebody else. So please note, love happened more than once. Got married to somebody else. Okay. And she loves the person, and the person is flamboyant, is of this go-getter nature, and in some way fits this power couple, stereotype that she was chasing. But he's a badly behaved person. He treats her badly in so many different ways. He's not half as caring as the simplistic person was. And it's not to say that he doesn't love her, but his way of loving is a lot harsher than what that was. So there's romance when it's convenience, but the anger is also equally intense.
Yeah.
Right? So now my question is, how do you decide which one is better? I mean, I'd like to tell her, leave him also. Let's go hunting some more. There'll be one more love. Forget it. Right? I mean, depending on how much pain you can take and whatever, right? But I'm saying that you first decide what you want to experience. Let me also put this in terms of FOMO, because this is a lot of fear of missing out, right? It's actually that. Is there something better out there? I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on something.
Yeah.
The counter to FOMO is making a conscious choice. When I consciously choose to be somewhere and experience something, then I'm also saying that the rest of it doesn't matter because I don't want it or need it. I'm where I want to be. Right? So you need to think about, what do you want to experience in a relationship? As a teenager, please note that this is not etched in stone. At 25, you will want something very different. At 30, you will want something very different. 35, the needs change. 38, the needs change. 40, right? It's different. So you need to know that don't be so finite with things that you are saying in terms of what you want in a relationship. It's not etched in stone. It's what you want to experience now. And then you grow with it and you see where it takes you. So be careful when you say that, is there something better for me out there? If you go looking, yes, you will find. But if you're looking for 100% better, know that we are humans. We are not built at 100%.
Yes.
We're all meant to be combinations of good and bad. So you have to decide whether the bad, or rather you have to decide whether the good is worth handling whatever bad is there.
Yeah.
Right? So if a person has X good and the bad is the person, I mean, I also have those quirks and we'll figure a way around it. Then you're looking for what kind of better. Think about it in those terms. And okay, what I'm going to say now is a little too intense and heavy for teenagers, because I don't think you all should be thinking so much also. Like, please enjoy life. Please go date. And please be out there and please enjoy the romance of it all. But if you've reached a point where you're looking for a life partner, even in your 20s, right? Look at values. What does this person believe in? And is this person acting in accordance to those beliefs? Right? What are these person's life goals? What is the kind of life they want to live? So be aware. Like a good example of this from the movies is Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, Abhay Deol and Kalki Koechlin. He is attracted to her because she has her own career and she's this independent woman, blah, blah, blah. A mistake gets them engaged, and suddenly she does one flip. Because her values around marriage and around her belief system around being a wife suddenly kick in. And he's looking at that and saying, dude, what happened to that independent girl I fell in love with? This one wants to cook and play house. Right? So understand that what are you wanting to live?
getting into.
If you want to play house, if you are sure that's your value system as of today and you want to play house, then find a partner who will enjoy
Wants to-
that part of you playing house and is willing to do whatever the other role is.
Yeah.
Right? But don't go looking for this when you're 17 and 18 and 19. And I mean, this will happen. You'll grow into it.
Hmm.
And if you don't grow,
We have a lot of
break up and somebody else will come. It's fine.
Yeah. So, ma'am, last question. Obviously, communication is a very important aspect of any relationship, not only just relationship, even friendship also. And I'm a type of person who don't like to share like everything with the other person. So, how much communication is important? Like sometimes people think they are oversharing. Sometimes people think that they're not sharing much. So, how much of it is important?
Ask yourself why you are sharing. What do you want to get? Are you sharing because you want somebody to sympathize with you and say, oh, poor you, and oh, look what has happened in your life? Are you sharing because just talking makes you feel better? Sometimes when you talk aloud, you suddenly have the solution. Are you talking because of that? Are you communicating because you want people to look at you and see something or see you in a certain light? So ask yourself, why are you communicating? What do you want to get from the conversation? And you will realize whether you are oversharing or you are not sharing enough. Look, I don't think that you should keep things inside you, especially troublesome things. Please talk to friends about it. But you don't have to talk to every friend about it. Everything doesn't have to be discussed with everybody. Okay, so please feel free to put different friends in charge of different areas of your life. And
Yes.
have one or two friends who know everything. Like I have a friend, if I blink, she knows I've blinked. But that's one person. One person.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone else doesn't know that. Everyone else has different aspects of my life. And I choose which aspect I'm sharing with whom based on what phase of life they are in. Maybe they can relate with it better. So somebody who's in a similar phase as me, a good example, I moved to Dubai last year and I had two other friends who moved to two other countries last year. And three of us shared this experience of ours together. Why? Because we were in three different countries, knew it was very similar. Now, this same thing I wasn't talking to all my other friends.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas when I got into a new relationship and I'm talking to somebody about, somebody who's been in a relationship for 4 years. Because they've been there, done that. It's fairly new. They're not married. There's a similarity of sorts. Right? So, depending on what you're experiencing and which friend is closest in that phase, share how much you're comfortable with. But don't share with the intention of playing victim, of getting sympathy. Don't share because you want to be seen as a X type of person. All of that is sharing from an imbalanced space. You're not sharing with the right intention. You're not sharing to understand yourself better or to express and create space for yourself or to process or to resolve. You're literally sharing to create drama. That is where self-created drama will come in. And I use that word very loosely. I'm not saying that we're being melodramatic, and it's not coming from a judgmental space, right? But a lot of the stuff we go through is self-created drama. It's tantrums in our head. We are throwing tantrums on ourselves. We are creating that dramatic space because we want a reaction of a certain kind and we want to be treated a certain way. So ideally, don't share in that space. And the other piece is this. I'll say this. In a group of friends, if you share with one person and that friend shares that thing with another person, because another friend from the group, because they're talking about it from a constructive space, it's not called bitching. You have not been betrayed. Nobody has gone behind your back. Please understand that if you have downloaded on somebody, that person is carrying that weight. They also have to share it with somebody, and why should they be carrying your weight? Why is it that if two friends that you trust so much talk about you, it's betrayal and it's bitching and it's going behind your back? Why? Unless they're talking with that intention of gossiping. Okay, also understand this. You will talk to a friend and they will talk about it to another friend and they will pull all your faults out. It still does not mean that they are gossiping. It's because they see you in a certain light. And they need to talk about it, and maybe they need to also talk to you about those faults. But you're not making room for it to listen. If the two of them come to talk to you, unless they label it as an intervention, you're going to turn around and say, y'all are no longer my friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're in a group of friends talk to each other. If it's a group where you all trust each other, then and two of your friends have spoken to each other about you while you are not present, it's not necessary that they were bitching or gossiping or putting you down. Even if they have spoken about your faults.
Yeah.
Even if they've spoken about your faults. So don't make it. That's again, see, that's the drama we create. That's a drama that we have created. And this,
Yes.
I wish lots of people had told me when we were 17 and 18, because we were a very large group of friends and we've all gone through this. That's why I'm telling it to all the teenagers who are listening. I'm saying this to you guys. Bitching about somebody, gossiping about somebody, those are very intense words, man. And in a group of friends, most people are not doing it with that intention.
They just joke about it.
Yes, and those who have a sibling, they're used to being made fun of and ridiculed and have their leg pulled. Okay, if you're an only child, you're overreacting to your friends pulling your leg and your friends teasing you and your friends ridiculing you and laughing about very serious things in your life. Actually, it's a good thing that they're doing that because it allows you to normalize what has happened. Like you want it to be dramatic and for everybody to, put you in some corner and treat you special. That's the problem. So to the only children out there, it's okay to have your leg pulled. And to those who have siblings and still are very sensitive to it, please grow thicker skin. It's okay. There's no malice in all of this.
Exactly.
So, ma'am, that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for taking our time
You're most
for us
welcome.
and help our viewers understand more about these sensitive topics.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the tools help everybody and you'll think about your teenage life from a slightly different perspective and have a lot more fun now.
Yes, ma'am, you definitely added a different perspective to our lives. Yes, that's for sure.
So that was. If you guys have a lot more fun now, thanks to these perspectives, that's my job done.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we hope you found this information helpful. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues, we encourage you to seek help from licensed therapist or life coach or anyone who you want to share stuff with. You can even help it. You can even deal with it yourself, as ma'am told us. Just write it down on a paper and just burn it.
There are tools.
Yeah, there are tools available right now.
Yeah.
And remember, with the right support, you can always improve your mental health and live a happier, healthier life. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back in the next episode with more information.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.